I'd like to call to order the Zoning Commission meeting of May 14th, 2008. Let the record show all members are present. This time I'd like to open up the floor for any public comment that pertains to any item not on the agenda. No one wishing to comment? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the April 9th meeting?
Motion to accept.
I have a motion by Sherry Slyman to accept.
Second.
Second by Julio Dumas. All approve. Motion carries. Just want let the record show. I want everyone to know that the agenda has been revised. The zoning ID 1872.08 for lot D2C and D2D, D2A1, D2B1 of the Union Oil Company of California for Canty Properties has been pulled from the agenda. Okay, this time I'd like to open up the floor for the zoning ID 187108, the Lester J. Duplessis.
Hey, this is my first time. Y'all got to tell me what to do. I'm representing Lester J. Duplessis, which is my husband.
Introduce yourself.
Sandra Duplessis.
Just talk in the mic.
I can't hear.
Talk into the mic so we can hear you. Thanks.
Sandra Duplessis.
What's your lot number?
Sir?
What is the lot number on the one you're wanting to get changed? Or staff, maybe you can help me.
There is no lot designation for this lot. It's in between D1 and A1 on the north side of Bayou Northeast Road, pretty much directly across from Pete Sanchez Road.
What do you ask? Explain to us your situation.
Well, my husband has a shop, Duplessis Carpet and Floors. We have a building there. This is for in future to where if he wants to expand and add like a little warehouse to put supplies in.
And Lance, the blue is what zoning and the purple is what zoning?
Okay. The blue is RM and the purple is rural. Recently, as of probably a month or two ago, lot A1, B, and B, and A, and the corner, or the southeast corner, has been changed to Crossroad Commercial.
Say those again, Lance. Which ones?
A1,
A1,
B, which is across the street,
okay,
A, and the lot on the corner, on the southeast corner, with the there's a looks like a warehouse there.
okay.
Those have been changed to Crossroad Commercial probably about a month or two ago.
So this lot is right next to the A1?
Yes, sir, that's correct. On the left side or
okay.
west side.
Commissioners have any questions?
Do you live on any of this property?
Yes, I do. I mean, that's our property.
You live there and there's a shop on the
Yes.
same property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would that be D1? Lance?
No, ma'am. It's all one track. The house is located on the property. You see the little drive going there. That's their home. And then on the left side of it is a little business, or a little shop. It's about less. It's 1,500. It's a little less than 1,500 square feet.
How long has the business been in place?
Sir?
How long has the business been in place?
Well, it was in town, and then I'll say about 6 months now, give or take. We had the building put there and brought the business from in town there, but the business has been since 2003.
Yeah. 3.
The business has been there about 3 years or so.
Any other comments, questions at this time? If not, I'd like to open up the floor for public hearing. Anyone wishing to comment on this, please come forward. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. No one wishing to comment. Public hearing is closed. Commissioners, questions, comments?
I have a question. I don't know, Mike, you may remember this. When we rezoned those 4 corners, there was a gentleman that came in and spoke and said, if I want to rezone my property, can I? Was that your husband? Okay. Okay.
Anybody can come in and request to rezone their
Well-
property. The problem that the issue I have with this intersection is that it is primarily residential, and this is what I was concerned with all along. Yeah, we went ahead and the 4 corners got rezoned, but now we're going to end up seeing everybody coming out wanting to spread out more and more and more, and this intersection I don't believe can handle that much crossroad commercial. I think the 4 lots is enough. And then at the same time, really this is an issue. Something like this should have come up as far as one total proposal, not piecemeal.
Well, and I totally agree with you. However, I'm going to remind you of what something Alan said that night. And your husband said, can I get mine rezoned? And Alan said, yes, you can. And I didn't know if he understood, okay, there's a process, you can be denied. I felt a little uncomfortable with Alan's response to that. And Alan, I'm not trying to point the finger, but I just wasn't sure it was clear to him the procedure, and I just felt like, again, sorry, Alan, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just felt like the response should have been different, and I felt like we gave him, he felt like he was being approved right then.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, we also asked staff to look at where the natural boundary for that crossroad commercial should be, and then ultimately the directive we gave them was to just do 3 of the lots because the 4th one was already applied for. And so I'm back to my question I had that day. It says, where should the natural boundary for that cross commercial fall? And to the west, you have this one tract of land, and then you have a subdivision. I don't know that we've answered that question on the south side of the road, but on the north side of the road, this may or may not sense.
And I was looking for my chart. I can't find my chart of all the items that are allowed in Crossroads Commercial, but I believe Lance, alcohol can be served or sold?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's
So
a bar.
that would put it right against the subdivision next door. I know y'all wouldn't want to do that, but should you decide to sell, then somebody else could. That's our concern.
The business that you're operating now, it's in the 1,500 square feet? Is that the size of the operation as it is now? And to rezone it, what are you looking to expand?
In the back
that-
of it, put like a warehouse to store material, like rows of carpet, pads, cans of glue, things that's needed, to where I don't have to go in town or out of town to get it.
Any other comments or questions? What is the wish of the commission?
I have one more question. Staff, would the use they propose be permitted in the business park district?
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Would the use be permitted in the business park?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And that might serve as a nice transition between Crossroads Commercial and the residential.
The only thing with the business park is the uses may be a little more involved than even with the Crossroads Commercial, meaning industrial-wise.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
What is the wish of the commission?
I think this parcel of land serves as a good western boundary on the north side of Roddy Road for the Crossroad Commercial District. So I'm going to make a motion, recommend approval.
Do I have a second? Motion to approve dies for a lack of second.
I'm going to make a motion to deny. I don't think it's in keeping with the overall zoning in the area, and I don't see it as the benefit to the residents in that area. So,
And I'll second Mike's motion.
Okay, I have a motion to deny by Mike Marchand, seconded by Sherry Slyman. All approve?
I object.
Okay. Michael, yay. Beverly, yay. Steve, yay. Julio objects. Paige, Don,
Yay.
and Sherry, yay. Motion to deny is approved. Please understand this is a recommendation to the council. It will go to the council. Okay. Next item on the agenda, zoning ID 1873.08, Lot 3, Magnolia Estate Subdivision. Terry Boyer.
Hi, my name's Brent Rhodes. I'm representing Terry Boyer. I'm a developer and real estate consultant for Thornton Harvison Rhodes Real Estate in Baton Rouge. We're seeking out an amendment on a zoning restriction right now on Lot 3, Ms. Terry Boyer, owner, from medium intensity residential to mixed use. We do have a specific use. One is for our own office space that will not fit for the current zoning, which will allow for about 1,500 more square feet of office space attached to it. And that's what we're attempting to do tonight. The original subdivision was a business park, which was recorded in 1981. Amendment to that park specified that lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 54, 55, 56, and 57, which all front on Old Perkins Road, were designated as commercial lots before bulk rezoning was done. So the developers in '82 did amend it from a business park to actually add subdivision, residential subdivision, to the back side of the property. The lot in question is surrounded by commercial development. There's a wrought iron business that sits right behind it. There's a car wash across the street, a vacant lot which is owned by Mr. Lambert, who is in favor of the rezoning. I spoke to him specifically. And there is a gas station quick serve on the corner which actually serves liquor, which is catty corner to the lot.
And you said this is going to be an office building?
Yeah, I actually have a picture of the specific building that we're trying to build there.
Lance, this is the only zoning that would allow that?
No, ma'am. There's a crossroad would allow it. The existing zoning would allow it if I don't know what size he's looking at building wise.
Yeah, it wouldn't allow it with the size building that we need. We'd have to upgrade on the zoning.
What would the existing zoning allow?
It would allow an office building to be located there.
But how big would it be?
1,500 square feet would be the
And
maximum
how big
size.
is yours?
It's going to be 30-something hundred square feet.
Could we give a variance for the size instead of change the zoning?
The Board of Adjustments could do that.
I'm actually on the agenda for the next zoning. So if the two got together, the two owners would be working together to put two office buildings in there. They may purchase each other. I don't know what their deal is. I'm here to help them with the zoning, but both of them are office park to be leased, one by the owner, one probably by the other lot owner. So variances maybe could work or couldn't, depending on the use. I would think not. I mean, they want to be freestanding buildings, two of them there.
I didn't realize that fence place was there until we drove down the road and looked at it. And I just didn't realize that was there, but I do know last time this came before us, I don't know if it was a year ago, but the whole neighborhood came out and said, we don't want this to be changed.
Well, I think that was driven politically, I would think. I mean, I wasn't there at the time, but I did do some research in regards to the councilwoman who it was in that district. And I specifically, before I took this on, I specifically went to the councilman that's actually there now, and he has no issues in regards to what the zoning that we're requesting. In saying that, I did go around the neighborhood to people that I do know there. My office is in East Baton Rouge Parish, but I do know people there, and I couldn't find anybody that was against it. So I don't know how that was driven to that point in time, but it was, and that's how it happened. Terry Boyer did feel slighted because she was told that that council person was in agreement with it, and then midstream it was switched over. So I don't know how that happened, but I feel that what's surrounding it, as far as commercially is concerned, I don't think this is a bad use for it because of what it's going to look like. I understand how zoning is zoning, and you can put things there after the fact, even though
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I have issues with that in East Baton Rouge Parish all the time, but we do have a specific use, and if we have to go through some type of zoning to name our specific use, we can do that also.
We can't control that, though.
I understand that. Totally understand that.
What's in lot 4? Excuse me, in lot 4 immediately next to you?
Lot 4?
Mm-hmm.
That's the fabric
a wrought iron
fence
business.
place.
It's a blue metal. Let me make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big blue metal building where a gentleman has an active wrought iron business there. And there's a car wash across the street.
Lance, is he in non-compliance? I mean, with that
Yes, sir. All those uses are non-compliant.
non-compliant?
Well,
Okay.
yes, sir, to some extent.
And I did a little more research. There's 4 or 5 other businesses down the street that are actively working.
You know, when the zoning map first got created, folks, these kind of deed restrictions, folks were able to to do this and have their property designated in a different district. Was that ever taken into consideration?
No, sir, because we had no zoning. I mean, anyone could do anything on their property. So even if deed restricted or not, it didn't make the parish any
I'm sorry, I
concern.
didn't ask my question clearly. When zoning
No.
came into place and the first map was drawn, there was no effort to look at this stuff
No,
at all?
sir. No, we don't restrict those or
Right.
enforce those restrictions. So no, sir.
And these restrictions were still handed out as deed restrictions on the original business park handed to lot owners as they purchased. So it's not like they didn't know it was on it. Now, can you enforce it? I don't know. I mean, Lance would have to answer that. But the lot owners, when purchased, did know that this was a business park at one time, and these front 6 lots were dedicated by the developers, Mr. Keating and Mr. Gerald, in '82 as commercial lots.
When you said you're on the agenda next month for, you
No,
said
the next
zoning?
item.
Oh, next item.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah, for the next, for
The
the other
adjoining
piece-
lot
the other
owner,
property.
correct.
Okay. Okay. I thought you maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you were going to say you were already on the agenda for the Board of Adjustments in case we denied you.
No, ma'am. No.
Okay.
Okay. No other comments at this time. I'd like to open up the floor to public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak on this item, please come forward, sign in, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is John Graham. I live on Lot 7 of Magnolia Estate subdivision. I've lived on Magnolia Estate for 18 years. There's probably 5 people that live on that street that's been there longer than me, but tonight, as a representative, I'm probably the oldest member there. I've also worked at the corner of Swamp Road and Old Perkins Road at the ICC for 22 years, so I'm well familiar with the area. When I did buy my lot on Magnolia Estates, the first 3-4 lots on each side was commercial, but anything that was built on those lots had to come to the subdivision committee for approval. And back then, when commercial, we talked about commercial, it was like a little bitty lawnmower shop or something like that. Nothing to what people are trying to do commercially now. So back in 2002, Lot 1, which Mr. Lambert owns now, was owned by someone else, was going to be a veterinarian shop at one time. And that come to the subdivision committee, and we voted it down. We didn't want any more residential on the street. I mean, commercial on the street. We wanted to try to keep it residential. Lot 4, which they're talking about tonight, has always been residential. It's had a trailer on it before, and then when the lady bought it, the guy sold it, they moved the trailer off. So it's always been residential. It's never been commercial. The blue building got grandfathered in when the zoning took place. The subdivision has never, after the zoning got taken into the parish, never really was strong on things because they knew they was protected now by zoning of the parish. So we knew everything now got voted to residential. He says there's several businesses on the street. Y'all all know the Garcia's roofing company has moved out. That we're glad that they're gone. They, there was a lot of traffic on the street. Sometimes it takes me 10 to 15 minutes to get on Old Perkins Road right now with the traffic the way it is. And I feel putting more businesses, commercial, office buildings on that road, because it does not face Old Perkins, it faces Magnolia Estates, that it's just going to be more of a hazard to get out on the Old Perkins Road, which is a very dangerous intersection at some times, because we're fighting a railroad track. People coming over the railroad track at a high rate of speed. We turn left to go towards Walmart, and the next thing you know, you get rear-ended. People turning on Swamp Road get rear-ended. People coming that way going over the railroad track. So that is a very dangerous situation that close to a railroad track. And the fence company, I'm almost to the point, I live 2 doors down from it, I'm getting tired of smelling the paint fumes. So when he closes down, I'll fight against that too to get that zone back residential. So that's basically what I got. We have a petition that the next guy's going to bring up. There's 39 members. We walked the subdivision. There's 39 people on the street that's opposed to this. We told them we'd represent them because I didn't think you'd want 39 people up here tonight. But that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jeff Rushing. I live at 18461 Magnolia Estates Lane, and I've lived in this subdivision for over 20 years. In June of '06, the owners of this lot and a few other lots came before this commission. Most of you people were on the commission at that point. They were trying to get their lots rezoned from medium intensity residential to crossroads commercial. The recommendation to the council was to deny the rezoning, and the follow-up council meeting, they agree with you and denied the rezoning. There are 57 total lots in our subdivision. If you take out the 10 lots that are either vacant, undeveloped, or have a present non-conforming use, we received 39 out of a possible 47 signatures. Directly, me and John only had one person refuse to sign the petition. The others we never got in touch with out of the other 9. This is not a transient neighborhood. If you compare the signatures from the 2006 petition to the one we're turning in tonight, you'll see just about every name is the same. People do not come and go in this subdivision. They live here, they raise their families here. To say that this lot and the lot coming up in item 4 are not suitable for residential use is not accurate, because Ms. Boyer purchased her lot from a long-time resident, lived there at least 10 years, and lot 2, which is coming up next, had a trailer rental in front of it for years as well. Seems to me like has little merit to attempt to get a rezoning based on a neighboring non-conforming use. To me, it sounds like a classic case of spot zoning. It's interesting that last time they were going for crossroads commercial, this time it's mixed use. And some of the mixed use characteristics say they need to have a road system capable of supporting growth with a minimum of risk to the public safety. Commercial development should use shared access to parking lots and shared parking lots in order to minimize traffic congestion and sprawl along the parish roadways. It says, while this district allows varied uses, the district should develop with adequate buffering, careful traffic planning, and appropriate lighting plans to minimize any nuisance. I can't see how this fits any of those requirements at all. And I'd like to turn in this petition and let someone else speak. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ray O'Quinn. I've lived on Magnolia Estates about 10 years. First, to clarify that the way the neighborhood was first described, with the 6 or 4 or 6 lots being fronting on Perkins Road, only 2 lots front on Perkins Road, and only one of them has a business operating. Now, it's my understanding that should any of the 3 existing businesses not operate as a business for a period of 6 months, they revert to residential. So I think the intent is clear there. As Jeff said, there are 57 lots. The street is approximately 3/4 of a mile long, and the street is 20 feet wide, and we already have issues with traffic. As was stated earlier, there are no other businesses on the street other than the 3 that were grandfathered in. Okay. When the lot was purchased, it was purchased as a residential lot, so there was no secret about that. I feel like bringing more commercial into the area is going to lower property values and make it a little less safe for the kids on the street with increased traffic. There are a lot of kids on the street under 10 years old. The commercial traffic we have now has already become a problem. This is where delivery trucks for the ironwork company has to come in and turn around at the cul-de-sac. Large flatbed trucks bring in material, so this is already a problem. Here's another shot. I purchased the property approximately 10 years ago, and I don't think I was ever aware that it was a business park. This, just so you know the impact on the neighborhood so far, this was the property, Lot 4, as it appeared in 2006 when the last petition to rezone came in, and this is it today. It's not been maintained. It's an eyesore, and I don't know what's going to end up being done with it, but I'd like to see it stay residential, obviously.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. Commissioners, comments, questions?
Hearing closed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, public hearing is now closed.
Well, I mean, from a planning perspective, I think that you might have a small leg to stand on in these properties where we're fronting on a major thoroughfare like Perkins Road, but these are parcels of land that are fronting on an internal, residential grade road, and notwithstanding the fact that there are some non-conforming use, the purpose for the non-conforming provision of the code is to specifically discourage these kinds of things from continuing and expanding, so that the land will revert back to the intended zone, the intended land use that's prescribed by the code. These proposals are just simply not in character with the surrounding area, and certainly couldn't be supported by the local street. So I'm going to make a motion to recommend denial of the requested rezoning.
I'll second it. But Mr. Rhodes, I would like to say I live next to a facility similar to the fence company, and I can see why no one would want to build a house there. I can see why
really
it would
what's
not
hurting
be.
the owner now.
Well, and I can understand that. But I can see something commercial going in there, and I can see other routes that you might want to take. As like O'Neill O'Neill mentioned, you could go to the Board of Adjustments and possibly get a variance.
As far as traffic goes, in building what we're trying to build will not increase traffic more than a home would be there. At 3,800 square feet, 3 people in an office, 3 cars per lot. It's not an increase in traffic.
Okay. I have a motion to deny by Julio Dumas, second by Sherry Slyman. All approve. Any opposition? Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, item number D. ID 187808, Lot 2, Magnolia Estate Subdivision. Kenneth Mowberry.
Can we shorten the process?
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea.
Well, I just soon withdraw if I can.
Okay. Client wishes to withdraw the rezoning. I guess, O'Neill, nothing we can do, huh? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
He said you can withdraw.
Yeah, okay. I just make sure. Okay.
Formally withdrawn.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number E, zoning ID 187508 for Pam and Robert Brown.
Good evening. My name is Pam Brown. My husband and I own the property at 17927 Old Jefferson Highway. We purchased this property about a year and a half ago, and the property was very much in need of repair. The former owners did not put much effort into maintaining the property. We've invested a great deal of time and money into the property and have enjoyed it as a design studio for my business. It is our desire that for the long-term investment of this location, we would like for it to be rezoned to commercial. With the future plans of widening the Old Jefferson Road in front of our property, the extreme high traffic currently on Old Jefferson, and the fact that we back up to the Cassidy property that faces Airline Highway, which faces Walmart, we believe that this location is no longer a residential type of location. We do not have any immediate plans to develop this property. We just want to enjoy it and maintain it for our personal use and long-term investment. Because I am a jewelry designer, perhaps at some point in time that I have been asked to establish, I do antiques and jewelry, that type of business perhaps down the road, but it is not our intention at this time. We were also in agreement that the corner property, which will come up next, Ms. Daigle had approached us that they were wishing to rezone their property because the OMV had recommended this to them. So she came to us this time, and sort of we would come in as a group. And again, we just feel for the long-term investment of our property, where we're located, backing up to the Cassidy, which fronts Airline, that is our request.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions, comments? Anybody got any comments? Or shall we open it for public hearing? At this time, I'd like to open up this parcel for public hearing. Anyone wanting to speak on this property, please come forward, and you have 3 minutes to speak. No one wishing to speak. Public hearing is closed. Comments or questions?
There's a residence on the other side of you, between you and the fire station,
Yes,
correct? Okay.
Just for knowledge, the lady that lives there is as we understand it, she's like 83 years old, and she does come and visit us. And her father was the original owner of that entire property that they, at one time, she explained, called Daigle Hill. And she is the last surviving person of that family. And she had donated the property to the fire station next door. And so she is there and does business.
Hey, staff, the survey that we have of the property that shows the 4.7 acres,
Originally, it was that size, and it was subdivided, and Mr. Cassidy, who fronts Airline, bought the piece that is to the right of us that is just empty, but it is part of his property. So we have the 2.58, and he has the difference. So he isn't behind us with all of his equipment, and on the side of us, he just has it vacant. On the corners, there are 2 other businesses on that corner.
and the next application is for the entire 2.21 acres?
No, sir, it's for the corner, the corner property at Old Jefferson and Perkins, which are the Daigles who own that, who came to us a few months ago.
You see which one?
Yeah.
Recently, I would have to say, I guess it was the city came in. There's a very large drainage that runs across those properties, which you may see on the map, that the city just came in and did an enormous amount of work on the drainage that comes through all of that. In fact, the Parish or city used our property to all of their trucks, everything that they did, all the work. There was a lot of major drainage work done there just a few months ago, and they were the ones who informed us about that it was on the books within 2 years that would be 4-laned, or I think as they said it, and they would come into our property and need part of our property to do that.
No questions, comments? What is the wish of the commission?
Just go to public hearing.
Already did that.
Okay. What you asked me that?
Been there.
Steve asked me that. I'm just echoing the question.
What?
I'm just echoing Mr. Commissioner Barrow's question.
Oh.
And you say you have no current plans to develop this property?
I do not. We were actually approached shortly after when we were in the process of buying the property, and actually I guess you could say the sellers sort of chose us over in purchasing the property because someone else was looking at that property for other reasons. Again, I feel it's important for our long-term investment. If any of you have driven out, as obviously tonight you've gone to different properties, we have greatly improved that property. It was deteriorating. The former owners were not doing a whole lot with it. It's very beautiful. We love the setting. I love it for the creativity of what I do, but we have invested a lot of time and money into that property. And of course now we do deal with Mr. Cassidy's heavy equipment. There's noise. Certainly not I think for the future of the fact that he is the only hard corner that fronts, if you look between Highland Road and Highway 42, that his front property is the only will eventually be available for his commercial use that faces Walmart. We back up to all of that noise, cranes, and heavy equipment.
Everything across the street from you is residential, though, right?
There is one house, Mr. Jim Burrows, who we've become good friends. And a few years ago when I think the former owners had come up for request, there were different people that had said, no, we didn't want this to happen. The question was, and we talked about this with Mr. Burroughs, who had said he would wanted to consider this tonight. He called me yesterday and said that, having known us, what we have done to the property, that he felt, even for himself, because his home is directly across from the property, that he had decided he had no problems with it being commercial. And he would have certainly been here tonight in how he expresses himself. Again, probably what has been most important to him is the improvement on the property and the knowledge of knowing us and what our intentions are. And so, yeah.
But I don't know about y'all. I'm really torn because there is a lot of residential in this area. We have rezoned some properties on down Jefferson towards O'Neill's office and down by the school, but everything up this way is is residential.
There's Winn-Dixie, and then the accounting and the hair salon and our property, and then of course the side Mr. Cassidy and then the back Mr. Cassidy. It would be my thoughts is that at some time in the future, long-term plan, that possibly that whole block would, and if, depending on what happens, I guess, with the Cassidy property that fronts Airline, that we back up to and we side. So we're kind of caught in between there. That either, I don't want to end up with a building behind me, just, that sort of throws that property off. And again, I feel very good about how we intend to maintain that property and keep it very nice. And with the residents there, I don't take it very lightly that I would just say, oh, I'm going to sell this property to a service station or what have you. I think that it will be an important block, is how I truly feel about it, if that time ever comes.
Hey, Lance, the Winn-Dixie is blue on our map. Is it really residential? And how do you build a Winn-Dixie in a residential zoned area?
The Winn-Dixie was put there prior to zoning going into effect. So their front or their parking lot is pretty much the line is commercial, and then where their place is on tract AB is residential. Or RM, I guess you could say.
So when was Winn-Dixie? I mean, that's
95.
Oh, okay, is that old?
96, sometime like that.
This is really a tough call because you have no plan, so there's no immediate urgent need to do this, and I'm just going to make a suggestion here and see how staff feels about this. But I think I would rather staff look at this corner here. I mean, we've got a huge commercial building that's non-conforming, and we've got other commercial activities that are right here, and I'd like to maybe see about, should we clean that up or leave it alone, or at least give staff until next month to come back with a recommendation of what to do with this whole corner, and consider maybe straightening some of these things out.
And again, I'd like to add the fact that I guess, we're kind of sitting there dormant, and when Ms. Daigle came to me to say that the OMB was looking at her property to recommend that she become commercial, this is how we became more conscious of, is this the right time to do this, to put us in place for the long term?
Neil, do we need her consent to defer this 30 days, so we can defer it 30 days, can't we?
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion to defer this for 30 days and give staff an opportunity to look at this and come back with a look at this area between Jefferson and Airline right here. Excuse me, Old Perkins. Jefferson, right? Jefferson. between Jefferson and Airline, and see how to handle this corner. Then come back with a recommendation. I think we'll make it. We'll give direction then as to what to do.
I don't know if we're going to meet our public notice requirement because we have 3 weeks to do it. I have to check and see because I don't have this on for next month. And
60
we have
days?
So
We have to act
Yeah.
on 30.
You can't do the 60? Well, let me ask you something. All I'm asking you to do in 30 days is to come back and say, you know, we'd like to make this recommendation, at which time we'll put that on the July agenda, and then you can advertise it. And then we'll decide what to do with this lot next month.
Well, we have to act on.
we'll have to act within 30 days. I think what has to happen at this point is she has to agree, meaning the owner or the petitioner has to agree upon that she agrees upon that extension of time.
To
If
give you
not,
the extra 30 days. Do you have an objection to a 60-day postponement so that we can look at this carefully?
What
and
would
make sure
the dates be?
It would be, we would bring it back in July, the
Okay.
second Wednesday in July.
The only reason I say that is I'll be in Atlanta. I have a place I have to be, and I want to say I'll probably fly out on the 10th or something. That's why I was asking specific dates. Was my only question.
Everybody doing?
But for what it's worth, I mean, I do agree that the review of that entire area should be strongly considered.
Julio, when you say the corner, be more specific. What are you talking about as far
Well,
as the corner?
you
Because
know,
we got the one lot. So
Well, we've got Winn-Dixie, and then you've got these 4 lots, and then her lot. So I'd like to look at those 5 lots on that side of the road in the Winn-Dixie parcel and see what to do with those 6 lots.
And you're talking very small lots
July 9th.
with very large.
That's perfect. July 9th, day before you leave.
Okay.
She's going to Atlanta on the 10th.
Let's see. I'm hoping it's the 10th. Is that what day of the week is
It's a
July?
Wednesday.
I fly out. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm flying out Wednesday, July 9th. Okay. Other than that, can it be pushed further back into?
Yeah, we could go to August. Yeah. August is fine, the second Wednesday in August.
Just want to make sure I'm in town.
She said she wasn't in a hurry, so we're testing her.
It'll be the second Wednesday in August.
Okay, I'll be here. So what you're saying is that Lance,
They're going to look at all 6 of the lots, 6 of the parcels of land that which would be the other 5 in your parcels, and then come back and we'll be in a better position where we could really look at this and make an informed decision.
okay,
I mean, if we're going to do this, we might as well clean it all up.
right, I agree.
So you consent. All right.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
Then, based on the applicant's consent, I'll make a motion to postpone to the August hearing and ask staff to look at this corner.
Motion by Julio Dumas to postpone till the August meeting, seconded by Beverly Barre. Any opposition? Motion carries. Track 187608, Gerald and Gail Daigle.
Good evening, committee members and chairman. My name is Gail Daigle, and I'm here this evening with my husband to request the approval of cross-road commercial zoning for our property located at the corner of Jefferson Highway and Perkins Road. The reason for the rezoning is to be able to expand on a community service that I already provide to the area. The property where my business is located currently houses a CPA practice, and Ascension Notary and Auto Title Company. We do temporary tags right now, and we service the community, and all of the local residents have accepted us with open arms. And I have talked to the residents in the area, and they think it would be a great thing to have a licensed tag agency there in the area. I have been approached and encouraged by a representative of the Office of Motor Vehicles to locate a facility there. This is the reason that I am requesting this rezoning, and it's to assist in providing a service for the community where people will not have to spend hours going into Gonzales or going into Baton Rouge to do an automobile transfer. In addition to that, with economic times where they are and gas prices the way they are, it takes quite a bit of gas and time and on the residents, and this is the reason for asking for the approval. Have we developed the property since we've been there? We have never stopped. Anyone who has seen that corner has seen a handicap ramp go up in compliance with the Fire Marshal's code. We are currently, the photography studio that was there, when I came beforehand, I had mentioned to the committee that my daughter was a photographer and I was not going to kick her out. She has expanded and grown into a larger facility off of Highway 44. So now my practice and the auto title company has also grown where we are expanding into the back wing. So, you know, I'm here to grow and watch Ascension Parish grow as well. And I've enjoyed being an entrepreneur in the area, and I would appreciate it if y'all would approve this zoning request. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this whole building has been used for commercial use for quite some time.
Yes, it has. Over 10 years now. As a matter of fact, there are 4 businesses adjacent to each other right on that corner. And the other house there is a rental property. And then you have Randy Cassidy's corner.
Staff, what's the difference between the photo studio and the title office? Photo studio is there.
It was there.
Oh, it's
they have
moved out.
relocated onto Highway 44.
So so it's a non-conforming use in a 1,500 square foot would unless you got a variance from the Board of Adjustment, and you want to expand right away.
We're trying to do that, yes.
Lance had to step out, but the note that he left was that in order to do the use that she's trying to get, the state requires the commercial zoning.
Residents in the area have pretty much asked that we try to do this.
Any other comments or questions? This time I'd like to open up the floor for public hearing. Anyone wishing to come up, comment on the property, please come forward. You have 3 minutes to talk. No one wishing to come forward. Public hearing is closed. Comments or questions from commissioners?
Ma'am, you do realize that your lot is one of the lots that we talked about earlier, as far as coming back in August, getting some information from staff?
No, I thought these were separate approvals.
Well, it's a separate approval, but Julio asked the staff to look at lot A1, which was the previous application, along with the several other lots adjacent to that. And your lot does that. That's on the corner.
Yeah.
That's the corner he was talking about.
A question that I have is, even though this property has had commercial businesses there for over 10 years, where the adjacent property has not, and it's across the canal and kind of almost separate, because the canal separates everything, would that not make a difference? I'm also right there on the corner by the lot, by the light, and my property's already called the cut-up yard. That is because the servitude that runs on the front of our property, when it's going to come four-laning through, it is, I'm not going to have any more front yard. Virtually, I will not be able to live on that corner, and where the barn is will have to be made into parking to convert it. But then there's plans for growth. You know, there's plans for development. That's already a vision that we know that's going to happen, and we already know how we're going to address it. I kind of feel as though my corner property is a little bit different.
I guess the question I've got for you is, do you want to have your property deferred until August like the previous applicant, since your lot is one of the lots that Julio asked staff to look at and bring back a recommendation, or do you want this commission to go ahead and rule on it tonight and proceed?
Okay. I don't know if the commission had the information of the intent for the commercial zoning at the time that that recommendation was made. You follow me?
Well, no, I didn't have the specifics of your intent, but I think the reason why I asked the question is because, clearly there are nonconformities here. Okay, and the issue that we'd like an opportunity to look at is, should we be encouraging the expansion of these commercial areas in this particular location, or should we be discouraging them and allow them to continue on as a nonconformity? And it makes it very difficult to look at a microcosm of just your small lot there on the corner, because while it may make all the sense in the world, one could argue that it's a spot zoning situation. Where on the other hand, by looking at this area, and I'm not going to presume to know what staff's going to come back with, but we could conceivably look at it and think that this whole area needs to be mixed use or crossroad commercial or some other zoning district other than what it is today. So we're just simply asking for the opportunity to look at it like the other applicant did, recognizing the fact that you probably have a more eminent need than the other applicant did.
Also keep in mind that I came before this committee approximately 2 years ago for the same request.
Well, if 2 years ago, obviously it must have been denied.
That was because the residents were not aware of our intent, but now they have been aware, and I have gone through the subdivision and talked to them, and they were all in agreement of needing this service in the area.
Well, I'm not arguing those
That's
points.
right.
I'm not arguing those points. I'm just saying that, I can't require you to postpone it in the 90 days, but it certainly would help us an awful lot because, we would if you've been patient enough to wait 2 years and 90 days, hopefully it won't be too great a burden on you to help us really analyze this and do the right thing, for the future of the area.
Whatever y'all say.
We would need you to consent to it. Okay. In that case, I'll make a motion with the applicant's consent that we postpone it 90 days so that staff can bring back this whole corner. Thank you very much.
A motion by Julio with the consent of the property owner to delay for 90 days. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second by Beverly Barre. Any opposition? The motion passes. Where are we? Zoning ID 187708, lots B1A of the Dick Audrey property for Chet Simpson.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryland Percy, and I'm here tonight representing Mr. Chet Simpson. The tract of land that we're talking about is about a half acre. It was his family's home for many, many years. They sold it a number of years ago, and the gentleman that bought it turned it into an insurance agency and operated an insurance agency out of that location for about 11 years. Mr. Simpson got the property about a year ago, so it was an insurance agency within the last year. I think it's probably been 9 or 10 months. What he would like to do, he's already torn down the building, which was the family home, and he would like to rebuild a professional office building there. It's a 1/2 acre. It's just up the road from the Robert Superstop. Across the street is Crossroads Commercial. Next door and in the back is a real estate agency. The land in between Superstop and this tract of land belongs to the Bro family. There's one house back there, and they have no objection to this request. As I said, across the road is already Crossroads Commercial. It's within a very short distance from the intersection of 621 and the interstate, and therefore we think it's a reasonable request to move to a mixed use. The purpose is to build a professional office building.
Thank you. Questions, comments from commissioners?
Lance, across the street's not Crossroads Commercial, is it? That's part of that. It's part of that rezoning from 2003 that didn't have it didn't conform to any of the new zoning categories. I think it still is the old.
Yeah, basically what it was is that what happened is that some properties got rezoned between a certain time, and the council as a whole changed the zoning map. So there were some properties that were petitioned between that certain time, between I'd say 93 or 99 to 2003. And what happened is that the council went ahead and those properties that were rezoned didn't want the owners to come back and request their property to be rezoned again. So they went ahead and said whatever was rezoned would be allowed, or that would stay, I guess you could say, and that's what this is. It was petitioned properties that were approved.
The famous brown spots.
Yeah.
Ryland, let me ask you a question. I mean, an office location there would be very consistent with the character. The question, of course, is how to control that moving forward so it doesn't become something more aggressive.
Right. I wish y'all had a B1 category or something that said professional offices. If y'all had that, this would be a no-brainer. I think
Correct.
The problem is your mixed use is so broad. We said we are more than willing to commit, sign anything, do whatever we need to do to commit. The problem is with a mixed use, you would turn down everything. If you can't do a commitment, if it's a catch-22 that we're caught in here.
Correct.
And I think if you go with a SPUD on a half-acre property, it's almost spot zoning when you. So, what do you do? Yeah. This has always been used as a professional office. They're willing to. Your lawyer, any legal document that's required to commit to that. I realize that too.
O'Neill, can we change the ordinance to work that in somehow?
King, there's a state statute that says you cannot conditionally rezone.
Well,
See, in other places you have special use permits or special exception permits within, like you could have a special exception in your ordinance that did that and fall under that. Y'all don't have that either. So we can't commit. We want to commit. We can't, O'Neill's now saying we can't go with the SPUD. It's always been a professional office building. We've got a catch-22 here. We're willing to do whatever it takes. We want to build a professional office there, and it's consistent with what's in the neighborhood. It's consistent with what it's surrounded by, and it's right near the intersection. And it's on a major road. We're not talking about some of the situations that y'all faced earlier.
O'Neill, there's no way to waive the 2-acre through variance? No?
No, that's not the right.
It's not right in the accordance?
Well, O'Neill, you say you can't conditionally rezone. We can't place the condition on it. But what about the applicant offering? That's.
No, you cannot conditionally rezone.
We can't accept, huh?
You can't even accept that.
That's.
That's not. There's no such. Once you rezone, you rezone. You can't rezone with a condition. And he's offering a condition. You can't do it. I mean, there's cases. The statute's clear on that. There's no conditional rezoning.
Okay.
And how big is the office you want to build?
Well, it's a half acre in between the required parking you'd have for it's larger than what they can do right now under the residential zoning. I think y'all mentioned, I forget how many square feet. It's larger than that because on a half acre you can build
1,500.
1,500. It's larger than that, but then after that, the number of parking spaces you need would limit the size of the professional office. I don't know exactly what it is. Until we get it rezoned, we can't design it. It's a catch-22.
So we almost have to send him to the Board of Adjustments to get a variance on your footing.
Well, look at us sending him
Unless we
anywhere.
get the
That's.
rezoning. I mean, the zoning classification we're asking for does have professional offices under that umbrella. That is,
Right.
under the scheme you have right now, that is the appropriate zone for a professional office.
Right.
So that's why we're asking for that. There's nothing else we can ask for.
For several months we've been looking, for almost a year we've been looking at some of these areas and where they should go. And this is pretty much in keeping with the character of office use that we were trying to encourage or figure out a way to encourage. Because there's a lot of offices in this area, So, I mean, those are the uses that are out there at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to recommend approval.
Motion to approve by Julio Dumas. So I have a second. Having no second, motion dies.
I'd like to offer a motion to recommend denial based on the fact that this is a spot zoning issue.
Motion to recommend denial by Michael Marshall.
Second.
Who? Sherry?
I did.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
What do we
Hopefully
do?
we can find a way to
What do we do?
Yeah, we
don't know.
just,
I don't know.
Okay.
I live in that area. I hate to see more businesses coming on 73.
Motion to deny by Michael Marshall, second by Sherry Slyman. All opposed? Any opposed?
I object.
Julio. Nay. Anyone else? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Public hearing for historical overlay review located on west side of LA Highway 44, approximately 700 feet north of Highway 22.
My name is Al Robert, representing Robert Distributors. Here to request the commission to allow us to change the facade of the office building.
Mr. Robert, are you going to do anything to enhance the front of it? I mean, what you had was very, very nice, and now you've gone back to something very, very plain. And I understand the situation. You said that the cost is prohibitive. Is there anything you can do to make it more decorative and historical?
I don't think I said the cost is prohibitive, but what it is when we were looking originally to do the first office building to try to satisfy with the request for it to make it look old. I think the architect still fits. But when we were just looking at the building specifically, I thought it was great myself. But once you put the building in the setting that it's in, I think it's overkill. I think the original building would not look as good as this building was because of the surroundings of the building. That's the main reason for changing it.
Okay, you're right. Then I misunderstood. I thought you had. I understood it was the cost.
No, it's mostly for looks.
Okay.
Well, Sherry, I agree with you. I think the original, proposal was, well, not the original. We still don't have the Ashley Furniture Building, so we're in good shape there. But I think what was proposed before, well, it was good, but I still think that this revision is still keeping with the spirit of the ordinance and the intent. I think it is.
The architect really hadn't changed.
No, but it's just a building again. There's nothing to give it character or a historic flair, to me. That's my opinion.
Well, you have the wrought iron posts, you have the wrought iron railings, you have the doors and the windows.
Okay, I'm looking at the north exterior elevation. Am I looking at the wrong one?
The only one he's changing is the south exterior.
Look at the south exterior.
Just the front is changed.
Well, I apologize.
You've also got some...
we have a picture if you want to see this.
You've also got some tanks and what have you there that are in themselves.
Well, if you're coming down a road, I took a bunch of pictures. If you're coming down a road, you can't really see either side of the building. You can see the front. And if you picture that building the way it was drawn first, it's really out of place in the setting that it's going to be in. If it'd be on a lot by itself with nothing around it, it would be nicer.
Yeah, our notes just say that you're revising the north exterior elevation, but you're telling us that you're revising the south?
I'm revising the front of the building, whatever that is.
That's the north. The front of the building.
So there's just labels wrong on the drawings.
What's something's
wrong.
I guess so, yes.
What are you revising?
Sure.
Yeah.
You better show the picture.
Show us a picture.
It's the south interior.
Can you put it under this thing so to show?
We have
What
one
we have is what he is revising is the south. Okay.
Yeah, what's wrong is the drawings show south when it's actually north.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was trying. Where's the north arrow? Give me a north arrow.
Mr. Robert,
Yes.
where your tanks are in the front there, are you going to just leave that like that or try to do something with that?
The plan is to move the large tanks and put a lot smaller tanks, vertical tanks. That's why they hadn't been painted yet, because we have to move them. We don't need that amount of storage anymore.
This is in north-south. It's sort of like an obtuse angle, and you can call this.
Yeah.
You can call this the east facade or the north facade, whichever way you want to.
Front of the building.
But yeah, but you actually have it labeled south when it really is either the east or north, but certainly not the south. Okay.
Well, I think the other side, whether to call it north or south, is going to have to change too. It's just your. I mean, you're just flipping it. You're taking out the gable and the height. So I mean, the view that we're seeing here is going to be probably flatter.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean,
the front of the building is the same dimensions.
I know, I understand that, but
These elevations don't match. Talking about the back, it's just going to be flat instead of having.
when you change the front, take out all those gable roofs. The back can't be that way.
Oh, that's right.
You can't build it like that. I mean, you've lost all that.
I think the point is that sheet A4 is going to have to be revised. The elevation on sheet A4. This one. Al?
This is the original plan. The amended plan was the wrong one. You had the wrong plans.
Do you have another elevation, another set of drawings in this?
Well, we had to come back the second time. That's the original plan that we first. That's the one we call the Ashley building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the wrong drawing.
Okay.
Okay.
So they put the wrong drawing in the packet. We're changing from the second drawing. This is actually the third drawing. You got a copy of the second drawing? Do we have president and copies of the second drawing? Copies of the that's the one we They had the wrong
Cabinet, which he owns.
That's the one y'all approved, the ones you had there.
Hello, Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
See one?
Now the roof match.
It's a rear elevation.
Any other questions, comments? Not that we got all the information.
You call for public hearing?
No, I have not.
Okay, call for public hearing.
Yeah.
Well,
This
we
time I'd
do-
like to open the floor up for public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and comment, please come forward. You have 3 minutes. No one wishing to come forward. Public hearing is closed.
Just for clarification,
Yes, sir.
Julio, when the architect drew it, he didn't know how it was going to be positioned, so north in the plan says it's front. It wasn't intended to not be in the direction that needs to be to the front.
Oh, we figured it out. It's just that
Okay.
the drawings we have were wrong. Thank you.
Okay. What is the wish of the commission?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval. The revised drawings remain consistent with the intent of the ordinance.
I have a motion by Julio Dumas to approve, seconded by Beverly Barre. Any opposition? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Public hearing to consider amending the zoning commission policy concerning commercial development and wastewater permit.
This is the same as the issue we did before, only it should say any commercial development, in any commercial development, the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality preliminary determination letter of approval for wastewater discharge shall be submitted in accordance with the deadlines for submission of the commercial. When do y'all want it submitted, Lance? The time of submittal for commercial development.
Thanks, O'Neill. Any comments, questions? This time I open the floor for public hearing. Anyone wishing to comment, please come forward. No one wishing to come forward. Public hearing is closed. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt it. I'm sorry.
Michael Marchand, motion approved, seconded by Julio Dumas. Any opposition? Motion carries. New business? Old business? Subcommittee report.
You know,
You went out of town, I know that.
Yeah, we've sort of been meeting ad hoc because we've been meeting with CPEX and some of the other issues, and you saw that very early on in the Planning Commission agenda. We are working with staff on a number of zoning matters. One of them that you're going to hopefully see for review and comment before we actually bring it to the Commission for public hearing is some historical overlay district issues, some landscaping, and some impact fee ordinances.
Very good. Thank you. Item number 11.
Second.
Steve Barrow, motion to adjourn, second by Michael Marchand. We are adjourned.